Welcome to the listening show. Thank you. Thank you. You can stop now. Thank you. I thought I was going to keep going. Bummer. But welcome to the show you can listen to. This is Zach with my best friend Walter. How are you today, Walter?
Fine.
Have you chosen to listen today?
Yeah.
Then you don't even need to learn this lesson. But for everybody else, that's the proper way to do it. You should listen. So we're done with that now. Or how's your day?
You're really off. You already asked that, but I'll answer it again. It's fine.
It's fine. All right. Today we're talking about jobs.
Specifically jobs we've had in the past, correct?
Yeah. Or whatever, just jobs you wanted to have in the past.
So we could talk about Steve.
Yeah. Any jobs you can think of.
Okay.
So tonight we're really tired. It's like, what time is it? We came out and it's already dark out. So this is going to be a lazy, calm, quiet, cool, other K or C words podcast.
Crispy with a K for like Krispy Kreme.
Mm-hmm. Colitis. It'll be up.
Cholesterol.
Yeah. This is going to be a caviar podcast. All right. I have an idea about how I want to do this. I was thinking we can similarly, we have a good trajectory if we start from first job to last job. And I was even thinking anything that is you earn money from counts as a job. So I was going to go back to lawn mowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
What was your first job? Do you want to just jump into it or do you have anything?
Yeah, let's just go.
Let's just jump right into it. Just jump right in.
That's such a peeve of mine when they go, let's jump right in. I look at the time code and 5 minutes in the video.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, top 10 in the world. By the way, check out our top 10 list. But first, runners up. Let's jump right into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What was your very first job, buddy?
If we're taking currency as a form of payment, the first time I had a job was when I was 6. And I got paid in the form of $50 coins. And it was my favorite time ever to get paid. The younger you are, the more amazing money is to you. That was part of it. But also, I've had this fascination with ever since. For years, I dream about finding $50 coins or large coins. But the first time I had a job, got paid was, I wasn't getting paid for the work. I was getting paid for showing up. It was a bit different. So I'd help my dad set up the church. And this guy, when he'd see me, I'm like a dog. He's going to give me a treat. He's like, sometimes he'd give me these $50 coins. It wasn't because necessarily I'm owed this, but because I was working, sometimes he'd show up and sometimes he'd give them to me.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the first job. About you.
That reminds me, before I move on, I had a customer at one of the banks that I worked at, and he would come in and he would give $50 coins.
Yeah.
And I one time asked him, why do you do that? And he said, because nobody remembers the guy who gives quarters. They remember the guy who gives $50 coins. And I was like, that's
and he was right.
Yeah. I was like, that's interesting. So that guy literally is probably just like, these kids are going to remember this forever. And he was right. Because you're 27 now.
You know what? Watch it turn out that it was the same guy. How old do you think he was?
He was an Asian guy.
Okay, well, that wasn't him then, because my guy was 60 or something when I met him, so he'd be 80 now. I don't know.
I was going to do the accent, but I didn't want to sound racist. Actually, I do want to, so here I go. Nobody remember the guy give quarter. You give $5, they remember your face.
And you remembered him, and you remembered his face.
And his accent.
Yeah. So he was really right.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I love that guy. I really liked that old Asian guy. Nobody else did. He owned a liquor store.
I like him. I haven't even met him.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen him in 5 or 6 years, but every time we come in, hello, Zach, you do my deposit today? I'd be like, yeah, Mr. Kim, let's do it. Thanks for the $50.
So he would just deposit $50? Or
No, he would be like, okay, technically I could get into trouble because they weren't allowed to give people money, but he would be like, especially the girl tellers. Mm-hmm. He'd be like, you take the $100, you buy for yourself, you buy a nice candy. You didn't know that candy is more expensive than 50 cents now, but hey, you could get gum or something.
Get one of those really old novelty sterile rolls or balls of gum out of a machine in Blockbuster in Alaska, since it's the last one.
Yeah. or like an old Pizza Hut.
Oh my gosh, that sounds delicious.
It does still. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, what was your first job?
I'm trying to think of the first thing I got paid for. It was probably, you know what? My mom reminded me this when we were talking about childhood and getting disciplined. And it's so funny that I forgot about this, but we used to do this thing called Mommy Mart because we were homeschooled. And if we did good, then she'd award us tokens. And if we did bad, then we got demerited tokens. And then the tokens, she'd buy little knickknacks and toys that we could get, that she just kept stock of these like tiny, they were like candies or Mighty Beans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Mighty Beans. But we would use these mommy dollars. What were they called? There was something clever name for them. Or daddy dollars. That's what it was. Because my mom photoshopped my dad's face on each one of them.
Hilarious.
And then printed them out and cut them. She cut them. And they were just like daddy dollars.
Mommy monies.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you could get paid in one or the other, which one would you choose?
Oh, well, the daddy dollars were more valuable than the tokens we got. They were tokens first, and they evolved into daddy dollars because that means she didn't have to buy more tokens. They could just print them off. I was like, that is so fun.
And that's how we learned about inflation.
Yeah. The value
and after
went
the
way
collapse, after the collapse of the daddy dollar.
down. Yeah, and then she
Came
started
in the mommy monies.
It got really complicated once the mommy money markets got involved. You know, the parental pay cuts and the taxes. I was going to think of some parent word, taxes.
I can't think of a pun.
I'm
sure there are jokes to be had.
Yeah. The anyway, whatever. My first paid job that I remember is mowing lawns. My first lawn that I mowed, I remember really clearly because it was a small lawn in my neighborhood, kind of near where you live now. And there was a lady who had this property that was right adjacent to this small forest, lots of trees and things like that. And what I remember about it is that I couldn't get like 5 minutes of mowing done before I'd see like ring snakes. And so there were so many ring snakes there, and I love snakes and I did not want to kill them. And so I would spend all this extra time, like I'd see a ring snake and I'd be about to run it over. I'd stop mowing and I'd go and I'd collect these like 5 ring snakes and I'd be holding them while I was mowing. And eventually I just was like, I'm going to accidentally run them over. So I'm going to get a big box, and I would just put all these ring snakes in this box while I was mowing. It would take me like 3 hours to do a 1 hour lawn, because I kept stopping and playing with these snakes and stuff. And the only thing I remember about that was that I missed one time, and I was like legit about to cry because I killed it. I was like, I saw it and I was just like shaking. I was so upset.
I'll bet you've done this, but have you ever run over and then seen a poof of fur and you no,
yeah,
and then you look and there's all these. This happened once specifically for me. That happened, and then I looked around. There's all these baby bunnies. I was like, exactly.
Oh,
I thought
so messed up.
I thought one exploded. Okay. I looked around and nope, it was just the nest that was full of fur, and so it fluffed out the fur. But anyway, yeah, my heart stopped.
Yeah, that's so that feeling. No, I could just so sense that feeling.
Yeah.
It's so real. But yeah,
have you ever run over a baby bunny nest?
I'm sure I've run over things like, I know I ran over that ring, that snake, and I was so upset. I remember like picking it up and it was
write
dead.
That down. That's why I would have pushed a button that says "so sad."
Such a sad sense.
That
was like the first sad story I think I've told on this podcast. But you can imagine an 8-year-old who is in love with reptiles and worked so hard. I did like 2 extra hours of work to get like $20. Like $20 was a lot back then and stuff, but still $20 to mow a lawn. I worked for 3 hours. And I was, because I didn't have to. I could have run all these snakes over if I had no heart. But I was like, I just love these guys. They're nice. They don't bite.
After that mowing job for your next job, you should have put wildlife conservation on your resume.
I should, yeah. I can still do that because I worked so hard. But I technically didn't conserve the wildlife. I killed one.
Well,
it was so sad.
You killed conservatively. You killed very few.
Yeah, I didn't. I worked so hard not to do it, and when I saw I did it, I just can't get over it still to this day. It's like 20 years later. That was my first job. It wasn't all bad. I made like $150 and I spent it all on Smash Bros. Smash Bros wasn't $150, but it was like $50. I was like, I'm gonna get this, and then I don't remember what happened to the other $100. But over the summer, I saved it all up, had $150. Like, I'm gonna get Smash Bros first.
Things got wild, and you got Smash Bros. You just started blowing cash, and You don't even know where the other 100 went. You're living large.
I was, all my spending on hoes. Middle school.
I don't know the game very well. My first thought was, what's a pun for like some name, some character in that even
Solid Snake.
There you go. There's got to be some kind
snake.
I don't know the game.
Well, it wasn't that.
Was it the 64?
Yeah, Smash Bros. 64. It was early enough that I think Melee came out a couple years later. But I played that game so much, and I remember thinking like, it was worth all that mowing to get this game.
Well, if you don't count my $50 coin story, mowing was also my first job.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you started mowing? Like for
my lawn, like 7.
You got paid to mow your own lawn?
No, I didn't get paid. I just was like, Dad's doing it. I want to do it.
Yeah,
and Dad was like, he did a really good job of making it seem like a thing I'd want to do, so he didn't have to do it. Like he'd be like, boy, it sure is fun out there working. I'd be like, I want to learn. He was like, I don't know. It's a pretty big job. You probably won't want to do it. I'm like, yeah, I do if it's fun. And then I'd do it, and I'd be like, wait, this isn't all that fun. But Dad said it's fun, so it must be fun.
Reverse psychology.
Yeah, he tricked me into it.
Yeah, that's why I asked how old were you when you started getting paid to mow?
That when I did that lawn, it was $20 to do her lawn. And she was like, it's not a very big lawn. Would you do $20? It should only take an hour. I was like, yeah. And the first time is when I saw like just 10 ring snakes just peeling all different directions. Like, I'm going to run over. I better catch them. And so I just sweep them up and put them on a box.
Okay. Here's a different question. How old were you?
Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I was 8.
8. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
I didn't mow that young, I don't think. I think I want to say 11, but I don't think I was 8. Not when I was getting paid. No, 11. Probably 11.
When I first started mowing, I was mowing like this. I was pushing it like this because I wasn't like this yet. I was small. I was small. It was like this. Anyway.
How long did you do that for?
I did that one for a summer, and I did odd jobs a lot because I was like a hardworking kid, and I just wanted to help everybody. And so people, when they were moving, they'd always call my mom and be like, "Can Zach come do this day, and we'll pay him $5 or whatever." And so, I made very little money doing a lot of work as a kid.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, it is.
But when did you stop mowing for money?
I don't know, maybe 13, 14.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I started doing carpet.
6 years. Okay, yeah, I remember hearing about that. Mm-hmm. But okay, so like a 6-year stint.
Mm-hmm. On and off.
I guess that's similar for me, only I didn't start that young. I went till why do I have the feeling that I can't remember when I started my first actual job, which I'm just going to go with one. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself. But up until 18, so 7, about the same amount of time. I know what job that is. Yeah, we'll get to that. But if I remember correctly, since we're just kind of going there, I started that right when I turned 18. Or sorry, right after high school, and I was 18. I could be wrong. You can help me remember. I think we started that job when I was 18. I know I did it for 2 years exactly. I think it ended at 20. But it may have been that I started it at 20 and went to 22. I can't remember. You know how old you were?
Yeah, I was 16 and you were 18 when we started there.
Well, I was there for like a year before you were ever there, but that means I was 18, right? Okay. I was like, I hate to think that 18 to 20 did nothing. That doesn't sound quite right, but at the same time, I wouldn't put it past me. So anyway, okay.
18. I wouldn't put it past me. Yeah. You sound like you're sort of a little short, buddy. Yeah. Do you want to just go through your job history and then I'll go through mine? Or do we want to just take turns?
I like to take turns.
Okay. Okay. Keep these 2 things in mind when you tell your things because I think it's more interesting this way. I would like to personally, because I don't actually know these answers for your jobs, but each time you go through a job, I'd like to hear the most interesting thing, like the worst thing about that job, and then at least one story, if you can think of one. If you don't have any,
a story is a good idea. Shoot.
You're a good storyteller. I'm a good storyteller. We need to tell stories.
Well, so we're taking turns through the jobs?
We could do that too. I was thinking you could just go through.
Oh, you want me to do myself? Do you not want to interrupt each other when we're going through our work histories?
I'll do
it whatever way you want, but I would have chosen to just keep taking turns and going up through it by the years.
Let's do that then.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your turn next because I talked about my snakes. That's the most interesting thing about my mowing job. Did you have any? Your bunny thing was pretty interesting about the tufty nest.
There's a little story. I guess it counts.
Little explosion. It looks like the old like Disney Pixar when exactly.
Yeah. But with much more dread.
Yeah, it's because you can imagine like baby bunnies just getting shredded alive underneath that, squealing and crying out.
Just keep drawing that out.
The blood is gushing and intestines are flying apart everywhere, and there's no.
And someone was recording for some reason, and someone put it on VHS, and they're distributing it locally because the internet doesn't really exist quite at that time.
Yeah, and you're laughing maniacally
at something else it's something that had nothing to do with it because you're not aware of the bunnies being killed, but that's what the camera saw, and now you're the worst person, and everybody hates you.
Yeah, they just like I'm picturing like a really crappily cut video where it's like it shows you hit the bunnies and then another like obvious cut away to when you're laughing at something else and then cuts back.
Like the person who recorded it staged
like
it.
someone's trying to sabotage your life and like a kid's trying to. Who doesn't know how to cut movies?
And then they cut to me playing with my pubescent mustache, like doing this, and he's got the mustache twirling. He's evil.
Like look, you can see from this video, Your Honor, that he is clearly the one killing the bunnies in town. I'm imagining like this one kid who is your worst enemy, who's like videotaping you accidentally killing his buddies. He's like, I got him now. Now he's never going to be school president.
When they call him the bunny bandit.
The bunny.
It's not very good, but it's adolescent, like an adolescent would name it.
The rabbit rampager, rabbit wrecker.
The great rabbit rampage of the bunny bandit in 1998. Okay, well, I guess I'll start. The first job we had.
Job you had?
Well, is this the same paying job, like W-2 1099 job?
Mm-hmm. No, because I had one for my car. You want me to start with my carpet cleaning one, so we're like in alignment?
We're going through the years in my mind.
Let's do that. So my first job that I'd had a tax forms too was I was a carpet cleaner, and the most interesting story about that is that I went to this guy's house that I've told you about, who had a secret room.
Yeah, that's a good story.
Yeah, and he said nobody knows about this room except for me.
And everybody roommates. Who's going to listen to your podcast in a few years.
Well, I'm not going to tell who he is.
Well, no one knows about the room, but this room that's out there. Yeah. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Because nobody knows about this room except for me, my roommates, the girls we bring here, and you. So understand that this is a special place for us. We built this. And it was like he had an entertainment center with like books. And then he had a TV, and he literally had like a thing that he pressed, and the TV went up and the books slid to the side, and it just opened up into this like stairs that went down. It was pimped out in there. He had a whole wall of video games with every console, and it was just like boom, boom, boom. I was just like, oh my God, it was so amazing. And I cleaned the carpet in there because it was dirty. Anyway, that was the only interesting thing about that job.
But in that room, if I remember, there was a train. That went around the whole room?
That went around the whole house. You're right. There was a train that had holes that went around the whole house that would deliver messages to each of the roommates' rooms.
Love it.
Isn't that cool?
Love it.
It was the ultimate guy house. He said there were 6 guys who lived in that house. It was huge. Huge house. 6 people. 6 men. 6 manly men who built a secret room.
6 grown boys with their own secret message train and secret message or secret room in all the games.
It was
what else was in that room?
I remember the coffee table was really cool. It was big and was heavy looking. I was like, that is a huge coffee table. And then they had a couch that was like a corner couch, but it was like 2 corner couches put together. It was a huge corner couch. And then the video game wall and a huge TV.
Cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. And the train originated in that room. So, yeah, the train was not on. And I said, oh, that's cool. And how you guys collect model trains? He's like, actually, we just have this one train, but you see here that there's a car for each one of the roommates.
What you see here.
Yeah, as you can see. Yeah, the guy, he was kind of douchey, but I liked him just because he had such a cool house.
Yeah,
I was
he,
just
he
like,
earned the right to be a douche.
yeah. I was like, you're rich probably because you can afford all this stuff, and you know, I respect you for that, you douche. You know, yeah.
You douche you.
You douche you.
Yeah.
I get it. That's stupid.
It is stupid, but at least you get it.
Yeah. That was my job before we worked at Shall I Reveal? Shall I reveal where we worked?
Oh, I was like Shadow Ridge View. Like, what is that?
You can go ahead.
Yeah. The job, well, I guess it wasn't your first job. My first job, the job that you came on to later, was Paneria.
Paneria Bram.
And I started at 18, worked there for 2 years exactly to the day. And that's the story I'm going to tell. Yeah. Panera was, I've had several jobs. You've had several jobs. Panera was the worst job I've ever had. Speaking of which, just going to bring us to our sponsorship segment. Panera now, if you sign up, you get free unlimited coffee for 1 month. After that, it's $8.99 a month. You get a free refill every 2 hours. So sign up today and get your free month of Panera Bread.
You like companies that treat their people like garbage but have great food?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to say that with Panera because they treated me fine.
Yeah, so, well, the story is about, it's about indignation, vengeance. And that's the one. Kind of. Indigestion.
It's about indigestion.
And you go, indignation? Yes.
That would be perfect. I'm imagining you saying that exactly in the way you said it, but then you add a little burp. Like, it's about indigestion. Just kind of yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay.
It's about rest. Okay, let that joke go. Could pick on it for a while.
Sorry.
So 2 years exactly. It's a story about how I quit. It's a good story.
How I quit the job.
So I feel like I need to back up a little bit. The job was the worst job I've ever had because I was overworked and I was young and optimistic and hopeful. And I was ethical and stuff. And I thought if I just worked hard, I could get somewhere. That's all it takes. Well, not so much. I was supposed to be promoted several times. I just never did. And now I know it's because, well, after the fact, I realized because they didn't have to. Like, I wasn't going to go in there. I was just going to keep working. So anyway, I more or less got taken advantage of. And I honestly, at the time, thought I was going to work up through Panera and be at the top. And just like that, like straight up, just whatever.
What a fool you are.
It was the day of, unbeknownst to my manager at the time, I'm sure, but for me, it was 2 years to the day that I was hired on there. So I remember my manager's name. I won't say her name. I'll just call her Mrs. Ma'am. I said, "So, Mrs. Ma'am, were you able to get that promotion for me or that raise that you said you were going to get?" And she said, "Oh, well, we were able to get you X amount," which was like less than 25% of what she said she was going to do. And I was standing right there because I kind of staged because I anticipated as much, more or less. I wasn't expecting a good answer. She said, "We'll give you this." And I went, "I quit." I dropped my name tag right in the trash can right in front of me. I was smiling. "I quit." And she was laughing. Ha 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 ha. And then she's like, "Oh, you're serious?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, you can't quit. You have to give 2 weeks." And she paused and she realized I already asked for 2 weeks off for a vacation.
Oh.
So then she just looked distraught and I just took my apron off and I was like, I didn't cuss, but I was thinking, bitch.
Yeah,
and it was indigestion for sure, man. It felt really good.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
How I quit. You didn't know that?
I'm sure you told me that, but I forgot about that.
I don't know if I did tell you, but yeah, that's how I quit.
Yeah, you quit after I started, after you started, and I quit before you left.
Did you actually quit before I left?
I did.
I remember you being there after. Well, you say so, but that's not. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we had for like 3 or 4 years, we had oddly parallel jobs. Like you followed me, I followed you to Panera, and then we worked like the same kind of job next, and then you followed me somewhere else, and we worked there together for a while. Anyway, I want to tell about my Panera experience, and because I have a story, and I think you know this story.
I have one in mind.
Is it about El Tornado?
Well, now I don't get to take credit for it, but yes, it's about a tornado and the deep freeze, and well, I won't say anymore.
All right, I started working at Panera, and I was working with our good buddy Luis on the line, who I love.
Yes,
we love Luis,
but he didn't love you.
No, he hated me. I treated him so nice. I'd be like, Luis, I love you. How are you today? Oh, I hate you. Oh, your sister worked harder than you. My sister worked with us, and he loved my sister, and he hated me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he liked you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I loved him anyway. I was just like, Luis, you and me are pals. Anyway, so this one night we had a sub-in manager. It was not one of our usual managers. She came from another branch and was working with us there. This was like a regular weeknight, so we weren't anticipating being busy. We were just thinking, let's just get through the shift and leave early and clean up the line and all this stuff. And there was some weather, but it was like just windy. And it got really dark all of a sudden, but I wasn't paying attention. I'm going to tell this story from my perspective first because it's chaos, and then I'll explain what happened. So I'm just making a sandwich and filling orders like I usually would. And I start hearing some loud talking that's aggressive, and I'm paying no mind to it until finally I hear a loud clack, clack, and I hear someone yell some profanity and say, "We're leaving," after they just screamed at somebody. And I looked over and I see this guy grab a girl, I assumed was his daughter, and pull her behind him, and they left the building. And he said something about like trying to get us all killed. And then he opened the door, and meanwhile, this person says, "Sir, please don't leave. It's not safe. You have to stay here." And he just left. So I look over, and I'm kind of just like watching this guy leave, thinking maybe I have to go fight a mofo. But then finally, I'm just kind of like looking like this, and I look over to the corner of my eye, and I see a tornado crossing the parking lot like 50 yards away. And I'm just like mesmerized. It was so quiet. I've always heard that tornadoes are loud, but it was just quiet. It was so peaceful and calm. But there's just a tornado going through the lot. I watched it turn a car over on its side, and then it jumped over a Red Robin. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so next thing I know, I'm just watching this. I felt like it felt like 5 minutes of me just standing there frozen, watching this tornado just go past. Finally, I feel someone touch my shoulder, and it's the substitute manager, and she's holding her jaw like this and bleeding down her chin. I'm just like, "What the heck happened to you?" And meanwhile, I'm still kind of like eyeing the tornado, like, because it's like right there. And she goes, "Can you please get everybody to the freezer? I'm going to go bandage up." And she's having a hard time talking. I was like, "I don't know what's happening," and I like whistled, like it's like a whistle loud. I said, "Everybody, let's go to the freezer so we're safe just in case." And people were kind of begrudgingly getting up. I unplugged the freezer, and we put everybody in there. And then I went and got everybody's soup. And because I was like, I want to watch this tornado. And Luis just kept working because he was like, "I just want to go home." Like he was just like, That's what he did.
That's funny.
He wasn't even watching the tornado because he did. He was mad at me for not continuing to work.
The tornado was your fault in his mind based on what I know about him.
I suck in his mind. It's like, of course the tornado tonight. Anyway, so I sounded Italian.
Yeah.
Of course the tornado tonight. But then there was this old couple that I had gotten everybody in the freezer, an old couple sitting there right by the window where the tornado was still. It danced around the parking lot. I think it went 3 revolutions back and forth because it went over the Red Robin, it went over the Outback Steakhouse, and it went over both of them. I was like, this is crazy how this is not causing more damage than it was. It wasn't a huge tornado, but that's when I went back and took everybody to the freezer. When I came back, it was back a little bit behind, like in the Home Depot parking lot again. If you know where that is, it was further away, but it was still very visible. It was right there. Old couple sitting there eating broccoli and cheddar soup. I was like, "Hey, I need to take you guys back there." And they're like, "Nah." I was like, "I'm going to get in trouble. My manager asked me to do this." And they were like, "Young man, we've been alive such and such years. If we're going to die, it'd be kind of cool to die this way." And I was like, I'm like 15 and I think it'd be cool to die this way. So can I just sit with you guys? And so I just sat there, and then Luis like yelled at me, and he's like, "You helped me out." I was like, "No, there's a tornado. I'm watching it with these old people." And I got him more broccoli soup.
Yeah.
I was like, everything's just in the shitter right now anyway, so I'm just going to watch this. And so we just sat there, and they told me this story about the last time they saw a tornado, and it was like in Oklahoma or something. Anyway, after that, he was mad at me because I didn't help. It took a long time to close because he was doing it by himself, and we sent everybody with baguettes, and they left, and nothing happened. it was just a beautiful thing. It was one of the things I'll never forget in my life is seeing a tornado while I was working at Panera. And Luis hated me. Anyway, so that's the story about Panera for me. True story. Every bit of that. 100% true. I'm smiling, but that's such a ridiculous story. That happened to me.
Like, I've heard that story a few times, but it's weird to hear it because I just think of it from my perspective. I remember you texting me while I was home watching the weather and looking outside, like, geez, there's a tornado out there. And Zach, I was telling my family, Zach's at Panera and the tornado's like right there. He's texting me, he's like, they can't leave and he has to work. And I'm like, that sounds like Panera. They'd make you work.
Yeah. I like lose a limb and they're like, so do you have to use a sick day tomorrow? Or?
No, it's just like, you have arms.
You have another one.
No. Yeah. If you have time to lean, you have time to clean. You're on one stump leg. And you're,
there's like blood all over the floor.
Yeah, you're leaning because you're incapacitated and the manager
They're
comes
like,
over.
are you going to clean that up? It's like blood.
Wash your hands.
My hand is on the ground.
Because you're covered in blood.
Yeah.
And you're like, wash your hands. Like, that actually happened. My hands were covered in blood because I cut myself. I'm like, wash your hands.
That.
I'm like,
give me a minute. Yeah.
no, man. Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. I also
That's
one
a good
time.
story.
I also one time you were there for this one. You like were mad at me because it was so stupid. But I don't know if you remember this, but I was doing dishes in the back and we were working together. And I think you had the line by yourself and it was pretty busy. And I was doing dishes really fast because we were busy. And I went from the dishes because you ran out of mac and cheese and you yelled out, "Get me mac and cheese." So I went to the freezer to get those little satchels
That sounds
of mac
like
and
something
cheese.
I'd say regardless of where we are, by the way.
Go get the mac and cheese.
Go get me mac and cheese. Anyway.
So I opened the freezer with wet, warm hands, and my hand froze to the freezer door because I didn't dry them off all the way. And I was like, "Ow, ow, Walter!" Like, what? Like, you were so mad at me. And I was like, can you please get me some hot water? I was like stuck to the freezer door. And then you came back and you were like annoyed and you like put it out and then you went back. And I was just like, I can't believe how stupid that was for me. So I'm not even mad at you for being mad at me.
I really wish I heard that. Yeah. I'm like, Walter, come back here. I come back and you're,
Yeah. I felt like the kid from, is that the Christmas something or other movie with the tongue to the thing?
well, it's been done several times, but I think
Yeah.
I'm thinking of one specifically. I want to get off track, but does Bill Murray do it?
Oh, he might.
And What
too.
About Bob? I don't know why I'm thinking of that. Anyway, not
He
important.
might. I don't remember it for sure.
Okay, so I guess that's that job.
Yeah. I didn't have a ceremonious. One day I had we did a play because we used to do a lot of musicals together. We were both in this play, but they scheduled me to work. It was my thing. It was my sworn
I
thing.
didn't know that was there.
I was scheduled to work, but we were doing Ecclesia, the musical. You and I were both in it. Anyway, so I said, I can't come in because I told you I had this play I'm doing. And they're like, no, you have to come in. Nobody else will be here on the line. So I went into my stage makeup. And everybody treated me weird because I had makeup on as a man. I was dressed up as a Roman soldier. I had to wear dark eyeliner because I was dressed up as a bad guy.
I remember that kind of. Or do I remember that? Was I even there?
You were at the play. You guys got to go to the after party. I had to go to work.
I think, okay, I heard about it.
We had a great performance and everything. And then everybody was like, yeah, party. And I was like, I'll see you later. Go to work. And I got there and they made fun of me. Anyway, that's Panera.
Yeah, that's the end of that. That's depressing me. Let's move on to something slightly less depressing, which is more physical abuse. So what was... During Panera, I had another job for a while. I had a part-time job at Express.
Oh, yeah. I didn't
The men's clothing store.
Yeah.
And that was depressing too. Just folding laundry, and yeah, I was starting to just starting to pick up on my nihilism, but I was just like, I can't lie to people and tell them that they need these clothes. But I didn't lie and tell them they need them. I told them what they cost and that they're on sale. But I was a bad salesman because I couldn't bring myself to do that. Anyway, I did that for like I think 3 months while I was at Panera. I'd have to think about it. Do you remember what happened after Panera, at least for you?
Yeah. I went to work at a gym for kids. I watched kids at a gym at a fitness center. It was a very nice fitness center. It's now a different fitness center, but They had a huge gymnasium for kids and like a big play place and stuff. And it was a great job because I love kids and I was throwing them around constantly. And I'm sure some of them got injured, but I never got in trouble. Yeah. It was a good job. It paid nothing, but
I don't remember where I was.
I remember where you were.
Where was I?
You worked, I don't remember what it was called, but you also had a job where you worked with kids. You work out of a van.
Yes.
Yeah.
I worked with kids out of a van.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
That's it.
No, I
no
remember.
Context.
I wonder if it exists anymore. I didn't quite understand what it was or how it worked at the time. It makes more sense now. It was a franchise called Games to You. Mm-hmm. Basically, the idea of the job is you load up a van full of games, whether they're physical like laser tag, things you need little stands on the field for, or more commonly, what I wanted to do is video games because the van had Xbox consoles inside and Wii consoles on the televisions outside. There's several TVs. There's a large bench in there. It's like a party van almost. And it was really fun. I loved that job because you got to drive this big, comfortable Sprinter van. I like driving. Did fine enough with the kids, and the job is easy. You just watch them play and set up Xboxes for them. And I loved setting up Xboxes for kids, like being a big brother. Mm-hmm. That lasted for, I want to say 3 months, but it was in disarray, and I don't think it was very popular. And I think that's why I got laid off. We all got laid off. They closed it down basically. Mm-hmm. That's why it ended. Paid bad hours, but I enjoyed it so much. I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So that's that story. Yeah, I have to tell a story from it. And the first thing that comes to my mind is I went to this house, and I can't say on any particular metric it was the nicest thing anyone has done for me, but I remember it that way. I went to this house, and it was like a really big house by like its own lake and stuff, and it was like kind of intimidating. Mm-hmm. I got there, I guess, before the guests got there. They invited me in to get a Coke or whatever, and it's always like, it's a castle. This is weird. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the party went fine, and they were so nice, the parents and the kids. And afterwards, they gave me a $60 tip.
Whoa!
Exactly. Isn't that insane?
Holy cow! Yeah.
So,
wow.
Like I know, like I said, you can't put a metric on it, but you kind of can. $60 tip in any context is a big tip. And I was just like so touched. And I was like, oh, wow, thank you so much. And it's like, yeah. I've never been more motivated to be well off so I could tip somebody this well.
That's so happy.
That was a happy story. Yeah.
Yeah.
A fun job.
Money provides happiness. Remember that, kids. If you ever want to be happy, then more money will do the trick. Thanks for coming to Listening Show and learning lessons with us and learning how to listen. Yeah. I don't have any. I guess I have.
You have a story from the daycare?
So I don't have any one story that stands out, but there was this one darling baby who nobody else could get her to stop crying except for me. And she loved me. Her parents would come back and she would always be sleeping right here on my chest, and they would be like, she loves you for some reason. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I love her back and I want to take her. She was so sweet. But everybody else would hold her and she'd cry and tell me. Anyway, I love that little girl and I hope she's well. She's probably like 13 now.
That's weird. But that's a good little story.
Yep.
What was after those?
Job. I'll tell you what's next, and I have to go first because I started there first. This is what Brown
was
did.
It next?
Yeah.
Sorry,
what Brown did for us. Yeah. What can Brown do for you? Back problems,
permanent physical injuries, class action lawsuit material,
dehydration almost every day,
physical abuse.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. What can Brown do for you?
Yeah, UPS.
We found out, so we'll tell you.
We did shipping. We both loaded trucks.
We both had worked there.
And if
you got there first.
Yeah, if anybody out there who also worked at UPS knows that you're just like a worker drone. You all have just copy paste jobs and you're treated like copy paste people.
You're meat in a grinder.
Yeah.
You're cogs in a machine.
Yeah.
They chew you up and spit you out is my favorite one I came up with. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have like lawyers like on your first day who are just like, hey, when you get screwed up, sign all this stuff so we're not going to pay for it.
They do.
First day. It's like, yeah, we'll hire you on spot, but
they're literally there on the first day with salt and pepper.
They're like, sign this here
seasoning
for
you.
your firstborn. Sign this here for loss of limb. Sign it here for if you die. Faggot. Yeah. It's so crazy. Okay, but my story about that place is I had a cool manager, and I broke the record for the most packages loaded in a
Is
night.
it the story with the record ever?
Yeah.
The big record thingy?
Okay.
Good story.
So for context, loaders, you loaded too. What did you say a normal night of loading would be, package-wise?
A good night of loading for me. Oh, good. Yeah. A good night of loading for me is loading 1.5 of those 53-footer semi trucks in 5 hours. Mm-hmm. I can do that by myself.
Yep.
That's good.
And that's what, probably 1,000 to 1,200 packages?
I think it was 3,000. I might be wrong. It's been a long time. I can't remember.
No, it's not. I'll tell you now,
that's
because
your
that's
number.
close to my record.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of 300 packages per minute. I mean, there's a 3 in there.
Per
somewhere.
minute?
I don't remember.
Okay, let me tell you. I'll tell you what the regular.
You'll tell me.
So a lazy person may do 400 packages a night, as far as loading goes. If you're working at a good pace, you might get 800 done. If you're really working hard, you can get 1,200 to 1,500 packages a night. That's
1,500
working.
sounds more correct.
That's working really hard on a long night, like 5 to 6 hours. So one night we had it was like close to Christmas. We had crazy flow, and I was just like so juiced. I had that day was a day I reached out and I talked to this girl that I was like in love with, and I was just like, whoa, like, yeah, she talked to me. And I got to work and I was just like loading these packages, just throwing them against, just destroying people's property. And my manager came up and he's like, dude, it's been an hour and you already are at 1,000 packages. I was like, 1,000 in 1 hour? I was like, I'm going to break the record tonight. The record was 3,050 for the whole hub of, thousands of people working there.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked so hard. I had a gallon of water that I drank in the first hour. I drank 4 more gallons that night and I didn't pee at all. I sweat it all out. It was nasty. I think about that like, I didn't pee once. I drank 5 gallons of water in one night. And at one point I was like, was loading so much, so fast. I literally just like sat down. I like fell over and about passed out. I was like, whoa. And one of my buddies who was pushing for me, he's like, whoa, you okay? I was like, yeah, I think I just need a break. And he's like, dude, you're at like 2,500 packages. You need to break. I was like, I want to get to 3,000. I only have 1 more hour. And you just kind of slow down when you're working that hard, that fast. And so I drank another gallon of water and I waited for about 15 minutes. And then I got back to it and I broke the record, got 3,150 packages that night.
Yep.
I beat it by 100. I was thinking about it. And if the average package weighed like 6 pounds, imagine how many pounds I lifted that night.
Like at least 7.
Yeah. If the average one was 6 pounds, then I lifted 7 pounds that night.
At least. At least.
That's whoa, Zach.
That question, it gets you a passing grade. Like if you hand that to the teacher, they'd be like,
18,000 pounds,
fuck,
by
it's
the way.
true. It's correct.
18,000 pounds
question.
is basically what I would have lifted that night. Just because that 6 times 3. 18,000. Anyway, that's my story about that. I got a sandwich for that. I almost died.
Yeah, that's right.
I almost died. And then the manager of the whole hub came over who treated everybody really poorly. And he came over to me and he just like begrudgingly gave me a sandwich and said, good work, keep it up. I was like, good work, keep it up. I almost died.
Yeah.
I literally like passed out.
Ooh. Okay. I thought about a story that kind of matches yours, and then I realized, we need to talk about the backbreaking. That's important. So, do you want to save a quick backbreaking story for each after I come up with?
Yeah. Can we say one good thing about that job before we just poop on it more?
You say your good thing, and I'll say mine.
My good thing is that we got to wear whatever we wanted. I wore basically nothing. I was a nudist practically the whole time I worked that job. I had like shirts that were not shirts; they were just rags you put on your body, and like they had a head hole. But then it was just you just could sweat so much that you just holes in everything. I wore nothing at that job. And I was like, I think if I could wear nothing at a job, I would be fine with going to work. Like if I could wear the dress code for UPS at a bank, I'm set. Yeah. I could just wear nothing. Okay, go ahead.
Good thing about the job was it was fun as far as hard work goes. You go home covered in sweat and soot, and you go home and you blow your nose and this black tar comes out.
gosh, it's true. Oh yeah, that is true.
You felt like a man.
Yeah, you
You did good work. You work hard every day, and you have this pride for yourself.
You earned that $12 an hour or whatever it was.
It was $8 an hour.
When we started, I think it was.
But they were supposed to increase it, but they never did. We were supposed to get retro pay. They promised it for months. I was there for 8 months. How long were you there?
I ended up getting $10 when I worked there. I was there for 10 months. I almost made it to the year point because if you work there a year, you can go back and work there more.
Yeah, like after a year, if you quit within a year, you're not allowed to go back ever. You're expelled, basically.
Yeah. You're closed.
There's a couple things. I'm trying to remember them and put them in order. You started there, I think, 2 or 3 months before me, and then you left a month or two before I left. And we left for the same reason, which will be our story in a minute. But you said this, I wanted a story that was, it's not as good as yours, but something besides the backbreaking stuff. And I remembered you said something about, I talked to a girl, therefore I got the energy to just work really hard, which makes sense. Guys get it.
Yep.
I realized I basically had the opposite. I worked such a good day one day. I was like, I'm going to ask out that girl if she wants to go get food, go get fuck with me.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Go get food with me.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. And so we went, she worked there too.
Yeah.
And we went and we had Applebee's and it was like simple as balls, but like, I had the energy. Like I was just like, I'm a god. I just moved this many boxes. So
Yeah. If you can displace objects the way that I can, then you can certainly woo a fair maiden. Let me just tell you. Yeah, that's what you were thinking.
It's funny because it's the backwards, like
Yeah, it is.
girl energy, whatever.
They're both like, symbiotic. If you have a girl, then you're just like, oh, and vice versa. If you just go, then you're like, hey, you come here.
Food.
We get food.
Anyway.
You and me. Yeah, no, I get it.
Anyway, it's a very short story, but it's
ending-
kind of on par with yours.
The ending is that we broke our backs. Not literally. And it's like when you lift that much that often every day for 9 months and you work really hard.
Describing a pregnant lady?
You get yeah. It basically felt like that. We finally went into labor.
Yeah.
Our back gave. No, we had you get comfortable with lifting things and you kind of get lazy with your form. And that's how they get you because they say, are you doing all these things that you're supposed to do? Anyway, I had a box of smalls is what they call them. It's like a bag. And they zip up a bag full of smalls that they're all pretty durable and they all have styrofoam. So you can throw the bags up on top. And I just threw a bag in a weird way and I just felt twist pop. I was like, oh, and I just sat down and I couldn't move. It was so scary. And I was just like, I finally slid out of the trailer and I went to my boss. I was like, I got to go home. And he's like, you can't. And I'm like, I'm not working. I hurt my back. I cannot do it.
They got mad probably.
Yep. And then it was like, oh, okay. And then it felt like I got sent through a machine. It was like a person, lawyer machine. It was like, go visit this office and get this paper and stamp this and then go here and then junk, sign this. And I was like, I'm not signing anything.
Yeah.
And then they pressure you into doing it. And then I was like, no. And they're like, well, you can't come back to work until you sign this, blah, blah, blah. This is what's going to get you to come back to work.
Yeah.
Signed it. And then it was like, if you don't come back to work in 2 weeks, then you're fired. And I was like, whoa, what? That's not what I signed.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, yeah, it is what I signed. They should have let me have time to read it. Oh, and I also signed that I have to go see their doctor at freaking blah, blah medical center that I'm not going to say because I'm sure there's plenty of good doctors there, but they screwed me. Okay, let me tell that story because to this day, I've never wanted to go off on somebody more. I'm a pretty patient man, but boy, because hurt my back in such a way that bending over or bending my back at all hurt really bad. I had a car that was low to the ground to where when you get out, you throw your legs out and then you can stand up with your legs and you don't have to use your back at all, right? Maybe you're bending it slightly, but it didn't hurt to get out of my car. That was one of the things that didn't hurt. So I get to the place, I get out of my car like normal. I walk inside and I go to sit down and it kind of hurt and I kind of winced. And this doctor who was there waiting for me, she rolled her eyes. I was like, are you my doctor? And she's like, yep, let's go talk. So we went in there and we talked and she looked at it. And she's like, turn this way. And I turned this way and it hurt. And I winced again and she rolled her eyes again. I was like, is there a problem? And she's like, nope, I think you're fine. I was like, no, I'm not fine. I'm hurt. And she was like, listen, I see like 15 of you guys a day. And I know when people are faking it. I was watching you get out of your car. And like, she like scoffed after that. And I about lost it at that lady.
I'm nodding so emphatically throughout this whole story. The camera's out. I'm just like this, like,
Yeah, tell him, Zach.
just like, anyway.
Oh my gosh, to this day, that was like, yeah. To this day, that was one of the more angry I've ever been at a human being. I almost went, oh, if you can deduce, you must be some doctor to be able to deduce from me getting out of my car. You gave me a whole.
Shit, how long did you take to get that doctored? I should be a doctor if that's all it takes is being able to decide if someone's hurt by how they get out of their car.
I was thinking you should just smell my farts and tell me if I have cancer.
Exactly.
Because you're that good. I was so annoyed. Oh my gosh. I left there. She didn't vouch for me. I was like, you had your mind made up about me before I got there because you're getting paid by the company to not help poor boys who get broken like me. Thank goodness I have a family friend who's a chiropractor and he helped me greatly. And I did therapy for about 1.5 years after that. And I exercised and it's a lot better, but it acts up sometimes. But I'm better. And it turned out okay. That was a lot of complaining, and I apologize because I don't want to do that. But it was like part of the story was like that anger I had.
Well, the back breaking, it's all bad.
Yeah.
I mean, the job isn't all bad. The back breaking part of the story is all bad.
Mm-hmm. They know how to cover their booty cheeks. They knew it.
To such a degree that it's disgusting.
It felt
because of the machine where it chews you up and spits you out, like you said, with the line of lawyers and papers to sign in case you hurt yourself. Screw you,
Yeah, it was like.
But the fact that it happened with the doctor, that's a level above infuriating that I experienced. So my back-breaking story is I was working like normal, and then I stepped out of the trailer, and the trailer and the floor is like 2 or 3 inches of level difference. Not much. But as soon as I stepped outside the trailer, it hurt, shot hell from my
that
body.
makes me want to sit up straight.
When you said I was so scared, that's exactly. I was terrified because like I'm broken, something's fucking wrong.
Yeah,
I'm dying. It was really bad.
I died right now. Come get me. I hate that. I could like feel it. I'm like reliving it in my body. I hate that for you.
I hate it for me too. Anyway, I've had a similar experience to you. Got off, told my boss, hey, I'm broken. Something's wrong. I can't work. And they go, well, you can't stop working. You can't go home. You have to sign this. So I did all that. And they said, you have to go see our doctor. Eventually I did. And fortunately, I didn't have an experience like that at all. I had no idea they were biased. They're just a doctor going, yeah, you have something wrong with your back. And then they sent me back. And then my supervisor at work, whatever, looked over and went, huh. And I was like, what? You go, apparently you have something wrong with your back. I said, yeah. And I was, that's really offended. That was the part where I got really frustrated because I was the best worker on the belt.
That was the thing about.
That's why it's okay. But that was frustrating. And they said, well, you have one of two options. You either, they say it was a 2-week period, like you said. Either you come back to work in 2 weeks, or you don't. I'm like, well, I can't. My back's broken. And they go, because I was explaining to people, the UPS system is like, I hope I can explain this well because it makes perfect sense in my mind. It's a union between two parents that don't get along. UPS is the mom and dad. The dad,
a workers' union.
The dad is the employer. The mom is the union. You're working. The dad walks by. Work faster. Yells at you and walks away. Mom comes by. Work safer. And you go, I can't do both. You'll never see both parents in the same place. And if you do, they're going to act like they don't see each other. Work harder, work safer. It's the most frustrating
That's
thing.
a good way to describe it. Because then like the dad will come and be like, you tell your mother this. And then the mom comes and is like, well, you tell dad.
Yeah.
And you're like, ah.
And then that's just the key. And they go, we're a team. We're on the same side. That's where the analogy comes into play.
It's a clearly unhealthy relationship. And you're just making the kids suffer with
kids
you
are
guys.
suffering.
Yeah. I get it. It's a great analogy.
Was that the end of the story? Oh, yeah. So what happened to my back was I had a bundle of nerves and muscle pushing part of my spine over to one side just slightly. That's what the chiropractor got the x-ray of. It's not cured like yours. It's much better, but I had therapy for couple years, and it acts up sometimes. I think the worst of it's behind me. And if I've ever exercised, that really helps. And that's the end of that, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what you said about when you're like, I was the best worker on the belt, that was the thing that was like hurtful about it, because we were young still and naive, and we didn't realize like, oh, companies don't care about you.
Don't care about.
But I had broken that record for the belt, and I was a very good worker. I was always the top performer.
You were good besides just that one record.
Yeah, like I was really good. I don't think I ever had a day when I got less than 1,000 packages, which is a good day for everybody else.
At one point, I think you had, what were you, the fastest on the floor for a shift or something?
Oh, that happened multiple times.
Exactly.
But then I also broke the record. There was like that guy who was in the belt next to me who was really fast. He was huge. He was a huge guy. You remember that huge guy? His name was like John or something?
No.
Okay, he's like 6'8" and like ripped. Like he looked like the Mountain from Game of Thrones. He was big, and I remember being like, I'm keeping up with that. Wow.
I don't remember seeing him, but I remember you telling me about him.
Yeah, there was one time we had a super, like, their belt was overloaded because a bunch of their guys took off, but it was that guy and like one other guy, and then they sent me over to help their belt, and I remember it was just me and that guy working together, and we were like, yeah, we go high five, and he was a cool dude. He was always like, yeah, you and me, man, we got the record always. It's either you or me every day. We're gonna battle it out. And so that was kind of
Is that what his voice sounded like?
No, I just like to pretend it was like a guy from an anime who were best buddies. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. High five. Anyways, so I worked with him one time, and I remember thinking, yeah, that guy's fast. Of course, that guy's always either second or first place for the night. I was obsessed with being the best, but I'm always obsessed with being the best.
You don't have to obsess over it when you just are.
If I'm not, that's like I was talking to somebody else about that the other day, where it's like, it's a problem if I'm not at least better than most people at things, and I get obsessive about it. But I'm not better at most things than most people. Just to clarify, I'm regular. I'm a regular guy. Anyways, but that job was sad, but it was good money for that time.
Well, better than mowing lawns. Wait, was it? $20 a lawn. If you could do a lawn in an hour, $8 a UPS. Ooh, I'm not convinced anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't get $20 an hour. I got $20 a lawn.
That's what I meant. But I was saying if you managed to do a lawn really fast.
If you had a snakeless lawn, then you'd be fine. But not all of us have that luxury, do we, buddy?
I was thinking of a joke, but like a meme, but because you said that. Oh, I thought of it. It's not that funny.
Next jobs. You're getting really close to your current job.
Oh, I have a job?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I do. Technically, there's a W.
So, but you have one between that. You at least have, is it Starbucks? Is that what's next?
Oh, yeah. I actually couldn't remember what my next job was. I have to think about it. I actually totally forgot about that job completely.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is what it was, but I feel like I had more jobs than that. Maybe not, but I'm starting to remember now after UPS, I was really discouraged. I was like, I can't even mow lawns. I can't push a mower.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, demoralizing.
It was bad for
felt
me too.
Hopeless. And it was bad for a while, for a few months. Like I can't.
We talked about it to each other. We were like each other's catharsis about it. You're like, hey, buddy, we'll get through it. And then I had the bright idea. I was like, I got to get a job that's not so physical. And so I looked into banking.
That's how
That's how I got in banking, which is what I'm doing right now.
Go ahead and go through at least one of your banking jobs because you had several, right?
I have had several. I've been doing that for almost 10 years now.
Good freaking grief. No way.
Almost. It's almost 9 actually. So still closer to 10 than 5. But
how many banking jobs have you had?
1, 2, 3 banking jobs, like 6 banking positions.
Yeah.
I've climbed the ladder, as they say.
Are you going to tell a story from each banking job?
I might tell multiple from my first banking job because that was a great job. My roommate currently works at that bank, and we met working together, my current roommate.
Because I think I only have my one Starbucks.
Well, just so we can still kind of have the back and forth feel, I'll go off on this one job first, then you can tell about Starbucks, and then I can tell about my current job.
Sure, whatever.
Or the one between my current job and this job. So after my hiatus away from working when I was doing therapy,
Quick interjection. How long were we not working? Because I don't think it was a year. It was close. It was a long time for me. I was like, I can't.
technically I had 3 months, but I remembered another job I had before I got the banking job, and I'll tell that one too. So I had 3 months that I was just off work, and I lived on my savings account, and I ran out of savings. So I had to find something.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a warehouse that sells Peruvian clothing for women, and I worked at a Peruvian clothing line that's local. They have like a place and they make like alpaca coats, and it's okay. Alpaca is like the softest thing in the universe. It's so soft. Okay. Do you believe me?
I don't know. You're pretty soft.
Thanks.
That's not a compliment coming from a guy.
It isn't, is it?
No.
You're pretty soft.
You're pretty soft.
Thanks,
Thanks, bro.
Appreciate that.
Anyway, alpaca.
That's so funny. You're pretty soft. Does that lotion on your hands? It's lavender. Okay. Yes, alpaca, and it was all expensive clothes. And the best part about that job is that when something fell out of its packaging, they couldn't sell it online anymore because it was tainted. And so they would take all that stuff, they'd put it on a table, and they'd have blind auctions for all this women's clothes. And because it was all valuable, I would always go up there and I'd bid on it and I'd give it to my sisters and mother. And they were like, yeah, I love that you work there because there's just nice earrings and stuff.
Yeah.
And alpaca socks. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me right now? Alpaca? So I worked there for 2 months and I got injured again because I had a bad back and I was doing the warehouse stuff.
It's weird. As soon as you say these things, then they just kind of come back and think, oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, my back is still not good. I went back to therapy, and that's when I looked into banking.
Yeah.
And I found my first job. It did not require previous experience. So I was like, I'll just jump right into it. And it was a small town bank that was
that Bonner Springs?
It was in Bonner Springs. I'm not going to say the name of it. I started off not knowing anything about banking at all. I had never opened an account. I didn't know what a deposit was. I didn't know anything. And they threw me in the drive-through right away when I didn't know how to do anything. And it was like stressful. And it was like the 3 worst days of work I've ever had, like 3 worst months of working a job I've ever had. Because I got in trouble constantly. There was one lady who was out to get me because she thought I was a bad worker when I was just like scared and never had a big kid job before. Anyway.
Can I interject right there?
Yeah.
Because when you said that, I remembered something that you said to me at the time. You were trying to tell me about your banking job.
What is it?
And I said, you said, you think people get mad when you mess up their food. Wait till you mess up their money. And I was like, that's a really good way to understand. But yeah, anyway, you
There's
that
nothing
part of the story, and I remembered that.
Yeah, something about people and their money gets them really like wired. Like if you tell people no at a bank, you better be prepared to get like fists. We've had people, I know that I've had people swing at me, and I know that somebody hit my old boss with a cane, an old lady. Yeah, and there's at least there's a lot of crazy stories at that bank. I'll try to keep it quick, but there's too many interesting things. So I survived my first 3 months because I was stubborn, and I said, I'm not going to be the worst at this job. I'm going to be, like I was saying before, I have to be better than everybody else at this. I have to figure it out. So I worked my butt off, and I proved that lady who kept tattling on me wrong, and she ended up liking me. I just had to get through it, and I became like the most reliable, like good worker. There was other great people there. I love the people I work with there. I'm still best friends with many of them. Mm-hmm. And I was there for 3.5 years, and I tried climbing the ladder, but there was not a lot of open positions and things like that. What I liked about that job is during the week, banks are pretty slow during the day. You get a lot of business customers because they're bringing their cash deposits from their income over the weekends and things like that. And so Mondays and Fridays were pretty busy, but, when you're working with the same people every day and you know people's patterns and how they do banking, you get used to your customers. And a lot of them are really unique people. And so fairly decent impressionist, and I got to where I was really comfortable with some of these people's voices, and I would like call people's phones up front, and people like they had caller ID, my other coworkers, but they didn't check it. They just answer it, blah 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 blank. This is so and so. How can I help you? And I would do my best old lady voice. I'd get it real right, and I'd shake the phone so it would have the kind of. I would do that. I would do it spot on, and I'd say it the exact way because there'd be people like that lady. For that lady specific, her name was Olive, and she was lovely. But hi, it's Olive. I'm calling from my phone at my house, and I'd like to check my check balance today. And I would do that, and they would give me her stuff, and I was like, I work here, so it didn't really matter. But I would finally wait until I'd be like, yeah, suck it, and then I'd hang up, and they'd be like, Zaka! You'd hear
shaking the phone while you say, yeah, suck it.
Suck it, you creep. And then I'd hang up. But I do a whole bunch of different people. I did that one. I mentioned the Asian guy who owned the liquor store. Hello, you check on balance for deposit today? I could do a lot of people there, and it was a great fun because they never got me.
Yeah.
There was this one time I did this thing. I don't know if I can do it anymore, but I did this thing where I made like a drip sound.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's like
it's
the
a
way.
Great sound.
Yeah. It's like. I can't do it anymore because I got so much chin fat, but.
Get closer to the mic. Well, it sounds great.
It sounds like dripping.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear it, but I used to be able to do it really good. And I was really patient because they're 8-hour days. And so what I would do is I would wait until every time I dip below my counter to where people couldn't see me, and I'd do it once just. And they'd be like, do you hear that? And I'd be like, what? And they'd be like, oh, nothing. I thought I heard a drip. And I'd wait as long as like 45 minutes before I did another one.
Yep.
Like, I swear there's a drip somewhere. And I did this for weeks until my coworker literally was about to go insane. And then she was like, there's gotta be a drip. She called the plumber, and the plumber came in and was like, I don't see a drip anywhere. And that's when I was like, I'm wasting people's time now. I'm going to get in trouble. And so finally I went up to my manager got involved, and my manager came there, and I started doing it a bunch in a row. And they're like, I can hear it a lot now. Finally, I just stood up and I looked at both of them. And I went, and they were like, are you kidding me? It's been months. You've been doing that drip sound? Yeah.
I don't know the show The Office, but that sounds exactly like something that Jim would do to Dwight.
Oh, I had so much fun. I was always hiding people's pens. You just do tiny things to get through the boring day, you know? It was pretty boring, but you'd make fun of the customers and you'd trick people into taking their money. Yeah, it was great fun. I did not do that. I work at a bank right now. I didn't take money. Then the other story I want to tell about that place is I was very aware of the cameras, the security cameras at my job, and I always have been. And because I know that people watch them, because there's security teams, I would always do like things to try to entertain them.
Yeah.
So I'd like make little stick finger, like flip books, and I'd go up to the cameras and I had like whole fight scenes, like orchestrated. The stick figures would be fighting on a flip book because I had all day to just doodle stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Or I'd just dance, or I'd like get on the counter and like do like, I'd just dance, or I'd do things for the camera. Or I'd wear a hat and like do a scene where I'm talking to myself, but I'd take the hat off for this guy. I did all this stuff, and I never knew if anybody was watching, but I was like, I gotta get this.
It's the principle though. It doesn't matter if someone's watching.
All right, so 3.5 years of this. Really 3 years and 3 months, because those first 3 months I couldn't get away with that. But so I got a call like my last month working there. And it was a guy up in deposit services, which I thought it was deposit services. I answered, and he's like, hey, this is so-and-so up in security. Is Zach there? I was like, that's me. And then he was like, hey, I figured out who you are, and it's my last day here, and I just have to tell you, you have made this job so fun for me.
That's awesome.
And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, just that you're always like goofing around for the security cameras and stuff. And when you pulled the flip book up with the action figures fighting, I was like, I want to see that again. And I almost emailed you to ask if you could show it because that was the coolest thing. Could I have that? I was like, yeah. I mean, if you're ever down here in Kansas, I'll give it to you. I never did get to give it to him, but he was like, that was like the coolest compliment I think I've gotten. And
that would be super
jobs.
cool.
He went out of his way to call me and say, just want you to know, you made this job fun for me.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. That's so special. And it was my last month working there too. So it was like, it felt like a good conclusion.
Yeah.
Oh, one more thing. There was a dead fly and I made a casket for it and we buried it in my rubber band drawer. Yep. That's what I did at that job. And we made like a Post-it. Anyway, we buried it. We had a ceremony. And I played a little.
I was just imagining the song.
The fly.
Like a little kazoo.
Yeah.
Little buzzing. Yeah. Or a sad violin, but with a fly. So like strings with a fly. You know,
Yeah, like Mr. Krabs, the tiniest violin in the world.
exactly.
Oh my gosh. That job was fun. I'm done telling stories about that job. It was lovely. I love everybody I worked with there. And you guys know who you are. It's your turn to talk about Starbucks, if there's anything special.
Starbucks?
Mm-hmm. It's your last job with a W-2, isn't it?
Well, besides my current one.
Your current one has a W-2?
Technically, it's a 1099 because I'm technically self-employed, but that's not important right now.
That's not important right now. Do you have any stories for Starbucks?
Oh, I know I do. I liked that job. I really did. What I did at the What I did there was it was a drive-through only Starbucks. So that's the only way to deal with customers is through a window. And I liked working in the window. Making drinks was my least favorite. Any other part of that job I liked. But I liked working the window. It was the winter. I got to wear a beanie, which wasn't technically official. So I put a Starbucks sticker on my black beanie and it looked official.
Yeah.
That was really fun. It would have been stressful if I hadn't done Panera, which was way harder. So, yeah. If I have a story, I'll have to tell you after the fact because I can't think of anything particular that's like especially happy. I have a bunch of little stories, lots of drama, lots of sad stuff. And like, I remember hearing about, I was working when I happened to hear about YouTuber Kitty0706 passing away. I almost cried at work. It's pathetic. Anyway, like a bunch of random little stories like that.
Things that you associate with that job because that's when it happened.
Yeah.
I'm a little far away from this, aren't I? That makes sense.
Well, you can just go on to your next bank job if you want. I'll have to think about it while you're talking or something.
Yeah, if you think you can interject at any time, obviously, because we're just having fun and goofing around. My next bank job sucked so bad. I was tired of not moving up at the job that I liked. I just really debated for a long time staying there because I just enjoyed the company and I enjoyed the people there. But I was like, I really need to be fiscally responsible and try to pursue a job that I've earned, because I've earned a good position. So I got hired on to be a customer service rep at a different bank. And instantly they started making me do teller work at the counter again. And I was like, technically I'm getting paid like this other job, but I'm not doing that job. Like, this is not what I wanted to do. And I hated it because the manager was the worst manager ever. I made friends with a stripper who was amazing and I love her. And there was a lot of really cool people at that place that I worked at.
Worked there or were
customers
there? Okay.
The people that worked there were not my favorite. They were kind of, I don't know, they were just kind of lazy and they made me do everything because I was willing to work. But the customers were all really interesting. It was in a small, interesting town. It's a bigger town. It's a school town that's local. And so there's a lot of college age kids who are just like interesting and have like all these interesting stories. And like, they're all business owners at a very young age and they're entrepreneurial. And it was like, wow, I'm learning a lot of cool lessons from you people. But I made some cool friends there. And I left as soon as I possibly could. I stayed there for about 9 months and then I got a different job at my current place of work, but not doing the position I'm doing. Do I have any stories about that place? Not really. My manager disliked me a lot because I was the only worker at that bank of all their branches in town, which is like 18 branches, to have a perfect survey record, which is a big deal there. It was so big of a deal that the president of the company gave me an award for it because throughout that whole time I was there, I was perfect in all of my surveys, which is like a big deal. That's 5 stars on every category. And my manager was notoriously the worst in her surveys of any manager in town. But she had a job because of bureaucratic stuff, and I don't want to get into it. But she hated me because I outperformed her. I made her look bad. Anyway, so she got rid of me at long last, and I got a good job. No stories about that one. I was there for a while. Do you have anything from Starbucks?
Nope, I wasn't able to think of anything.
I'll just keep going then.
Yeah, go to your next bank job.
Which is my current job. I moved from a CSR job, and I was thinking, I like working with customers, but because I like people, but I wanted to try something different, and I wanted to move up, and I knew that in the back of the house, people move up quicker because it's all desk jobs and stuff, and I was like, my back is still a little bit hurting, so let's try this. And I thought my life was going some different directions that are not important, but I wanted a secure, stable job, 8 to 5, that I was like, I'm going to be family man and be married, and we're going to do this. So I got the next job, which I worked as like a lockbox guy. And lockbox, for anybody who doesn't know, is not like safe deposit box. It's actually a company send us their mail, and we go through it and deposit their checks for them, and we give them their correspondence and their letters from attorneys and stuff. And we basically sort their mail for them, but through the bank, because banks are secure and they have all that, whatever. And that was interesting, but it wasn't, I didn't stay there. I think I was there for a year, and then I got promoted to my current job, which is as a loan documentation specialist. And I implement systems, and I image stuff, and then I do a lot of extra things right now at my desk job. And it's a nice company. I like them a lot. Very
You
grateful
described
for that
your job, but you didn't tell a story from your job.
I don't know if I have stories.
I know a story, but it's not like really worth telling. That's the kind of problem I have with Starbucks. It's like I know stories, it's just not particularly.
That are my stories?
I had one of yours in mind, but
what is it? I'll flourish it. I'll make it.
Well,
good.
what if I say it and you're like, oh, I wish you had told everybody that. I don't.
Oh,
like I don't know.
I kind of want you to say it now. I don't really care.
You sure?
Start it and I'll finish it if I want to.
Okay, you stop me whenever you want.
Yeah.
There was a girl.
Oh, all right. I'll tell that. I was in a serious relationship, and I was thinking I was going to marry this other girl. But at the same time that I was working this out with the girl that I was with, there was this other darling lady who was my friend who I worked with at this place, but I am very single-minded. I've got a girlfriend. I'm not going to think about this girl that way, and I didn't at all the whole time. But she was always so kind, and she's never inappropriate in any way. She knew I had a girlfriend and all that, and she was never like that in a bad way. But I think that she liked me, and I was like totally of the mindset like I could totally like her if I wasn't totally going to marry this other girl. Anyway, the thing with the girl I was with did not work out, and it was okay. But I was thinking in my head like, boy, this girl that I've not been paying attention to for the last year is super sweet, and I really think she's a special catch. But because I had treated her in the not potentially romantic way for so long, that I was thinking that ship has sailed and I can't do it. And I regrettably did not pursue that girl at all. There's not really a story there. It's not funny. It's just like
that's one reason I was hesitant, because it's not a particularly good story. It's not a full story.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of you didn't mention is that you didn't pursue her when you were able to after the fact, because you had decided, and this frustrated me, because you had decided that she couldn't possibly see you as anything other than disinterested, because you had been showing yourself to be disinterested the whole time.
Right.
And I was like, just go to her and explain your relationship situation. Say I was in one and I'm out now, but I would like to talk to you. And you text like, nah.
Well, it was also because we were friends casually. I didn't talk to her every day or anything. The things that stood out about her was she gave me a playlist of her favorite songs and a sweet little note.
Which apparently is what the kids do. They give out mixtapes on Spotify.
It's exactly that. She had like a piece of paper and all the eyes were hearts with the dots were hearts. And I was like, that is so cute. And her cute little handwriting was all cursive. And she had like a slight southern drawl, and she was just tiny little petite thing. And she was darling. And I don't fret over it, because I don't fret over that kind of thing. But I do think like, I wonder if that would have been something special. If she's out there and interested in me somehow, I would totally talk to her again, because she was so sweet and she stood out. She seemed like the kind of, when she talked about her church and she invited me to church at one point. I was like, wow, she likes Jesus. That's cool. I'm cool with that.
But I'm sure you didn't go because I'm sure you were in a relationship.
Yeah, I was in a relationship. Yeah, she did. Okay, I never directly told her that I had a girlfriend, but I made it clear by my actions and that I was like not going to act interested one bit. You are a business person that I work with. Mm-hmm. But you know, when we'd talk, I'd make her giggle at things or whatever, and then I'd go work, and I would not talk longer than what was appropriate. Any of that. I was just all about this other girl. Don't regret that a bit. Good with that. I will always be good with that. But yeah, maybe I could have shot my shot afterward, but I was torn up about the other thing too.
Yeah, I get it.
So I didn't want to.
I wasn't annoyed that you didn't do it. I was annoyed for your reason for not doing it. It's because she already decided that she's interested. Like, you don't know what she decided.
Yeah, I'm sure that is
do what you want, but
you're right. That is a reason. I didn't want to look foolish if I had read her little notes wrong.
Yeah, I get
like that.
but
I tend to think that I have a good handle on when somebody might be interested, but I also don't. It's just like, what kind of a douche assumes ahead of time? And I just don't want that embarrassment of being wrong.
I get it.
Anyway, I told you about it, and you were like, I'm going to call your work and say, is this so-and-so?
It wasn't my idea.
I know it wasn't.
It was my ex's idea.
Yeah, and she was like, your ex was like, we're going to call his work and we're going to ask for that girl and we're going to tell him that he likes her. And then
and then he'll have to confront her.
Then she'll have to talk to him. I was so annoyed. I was like, thank God when you broke up. I had a good laugh though. Yeah, when you and her broke up.
What'd you say? I
said, thank God when you and her broke up because I hated her for that. I was joking.
I know, it's still funny though.
Yeah. But I did think, I was genuinely concerned when she was like, what's his work number? I was like, no, don't tell her. It seems like something she'd do. Like, she'd totally tell her. I was concerned. I was mad concerned. But anyway, there's been interesting things that have happened at that bank. Like I guess a couple, I don't know if I should tell it because my boss got fired, but he was a good boss. And that was an interesting week because everything kind of went crazy and I don't really have a boss right now.
Maybe you can save that story for later if it ever develops more, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. I agree.
Because it's still a confusing story.
I actually do have the thing I'm proud of about my job right now. Can I talk about my job just slightly more? I don't want to be boring. I feel like I might be boring, but I'll tell this because I'm really proud of it and I worked really hard for it. When I changed positions to the position I'm currently in, I made it a point to, like everything else, be better at it than everybody else, even if I don't get praised for it. And I ended up doing what amounted to be like 90% of my department's work, just kind of thanklessly. And I didn't mind that. Because I was like, the principle is that I'm going to know I did it. But then like another one of my goals, as far as like, I'm working this desk job anyway, and I'm doing the 9-to-5 life. I might as well do it just really good and work hard while I'm here. Cause maybe I won't be here one day and maybe I'll miss it. I don't know. All that to say, after a year of working and doing about 90% of the department's work, I decided I'm going to approach my bosses and request a huge raise, one that's 5 times bigger than they allot for a year. And I'm going to try it out. I've not tried that sort of thing before, and I ended up getting it because I wrote up an essay basically saying, here's all the work that I did. Here's what was happening before I got here. Here's what I did to clean it up for you guys. And here's my projections. And if I hold to these, I'd like this big of a raise. And they kind of looked at it and they're like, we can't do that. And then I was like, this is how you can do it. Because I'm such a part of their department, I know what they can do and can't do. And I was like, I was going to request this, which is a lot more than you guys can do, but I know you guys can do this for me because this is what you guys are going to pay for someone else to do this that I just did for you for free. Now I would like to be compensated for it.
Now I'd like to be constipated.
Now I'd like to be constipated for it.
Actually, that is a running joke, isn't it? I did that last time. I said astrologist instead of,
Yeah. And you did it earlier this episode too.
Yeah, I thought about that. No, I thought before that, you always switch a word that's not quite right.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'd like to be constipated for it. Constipated for it. Anyway, they gave it to me, and that's part of the reason I have some time to do this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I have time to do this show is because I have all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a job.
No, you do have a job.
Well, I do technically, but it's fun to shit on, and it's really, I appreciate when people shit on it. Your roommate shits on it all the time, and it's never not funny to me.
It is funny.
So I'm like, wow, must be nice to not have a job or whatever he says.
Yeah, he says a lot of things like that. Yeah, he's funny to you.
Well,
okay.
this go ahead.
Before you go, just to preface this, because you got to talk about your job. This is going to be the most interesting part to all of our listeners, since all of them probably came from your current job.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. Now I don't have to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, which will make it doubly effective. This will sound pretentious, but most likely everybody who's watching right now,
knows what
as it's being uploaded, as opposed to like years from now, know who I am and what my job is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a YouTuber, and I hate saying that. It makes you go, ugh. It's like a stigma. It's like saying I drive a Mustang. People only think about the crowd plowing. They don't think about, yes, you in the front.
Do both of those things. Carry on.
Yes.
You fit. There's a stereotype, buddy. Sorry. You're there. Anyway.
I'm a YouTuber, so it means I get paid to make YouTube videos. So I've been doing this for, I want to say 5 years. I forget if I started in April 2014 or 15. I think it's 15. So 5 years now, 5.5. Yeah, 5.5. And I have a little bit of a story as far as how it started or the transition into it. I was working at Starbucks. Oh, I had another job. That's what it was. As I was working at Starbucks, I also had a receptionist job. So I was working 2 jobs.
That's right. I remember that.
I worked there for almost a year. I was working Starbucks overtime and then the receptionist job part-time. And at the same time, I was making YouTube videos for fun, which was my remainder part-time to fill up my 100 hours a week thing. And at some point, over the 3 months that I was working at Starbucks, YouTube started to suddenly, by 3 months' time, it was paying as much as Starbucks was. I was like, dude, I should leave Starbucks and put more time into this. And that's a fun story. I'll try to keep it short, but I was just about to stop making YouTube videos because I thought, man, I should put more work time into an actual job because this is not a good use of my time. And right when I was about to quit, YouTube basically blew up. Mm-hmm. So that's a short story. Anyway, when I started YouTube in April of 2015, when it was paying as much as Starbucks, that's when I was a YouTuber. That was my job essentially. But I was working the receptionist job also for several months until I was like, nope, I'm going to be full time. So I have lots of stories from YouTube.
You sure do.
Yeah, but you're going to have to prod me because I can't think of anything particular or something specific and worth sharing on here.
What was that like for you?
What was
psychologically? What was it like for you changing jobs to be a YouTuber?
That's a good question. Thanks for the good question. I really appreciate good questions, no matter what they are, where they come from, as long as they're good.
Yeah, I'm full of them.
I need to think about that for a little bit. Can I think about it for a little bit? And by a little bit, I mean like 30 seconds, which is a long time.
Okay, while you talk about it, I'm going to talk about a TikTok that I saw. There's this guy who talks about light for a little bit. And then he's like, what's that you got there? And he's like, it's a little candle. And he's like, I just need light for a little bit. I've got this little candle. And then he throws it to him. He goes, throw me that there, big guy. Makes me laugh. It's a funny TikTok. That guy does a bunch of random, like what is happening in this videos. You don't have to listen to anything I'm saying. I'm just talking about TikTok videos. But
unfortunately I was not able to think because I was listening to that story too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm going to have to either think silently or just ramble. You pick.
You ramble.
Okay. Psychologically, what it was like for me to start YouTube was, it was the best time of my life. It was awesome. It was, it felt like, this is who I am. Here I am. Finally. It was a really good freeing feeling. It was amazing. And which I think is an appropriate response. It'd suck if I didn't feel any way about it, but I certainly did. Not as much now because I'm so used to it, which is unfortunate. Sometimes I want to shake myself out of apathy and go, I'm going to get a regular job just so I can kind of remember what I have, if that makes sense. You can prod away more. Does that answer what it was like psychologically? I don't think it quite
I would have
answers
guessed
it.
that. Can I tell you what it was like for you to become a YouTuber, for me, your best friend?
Sure.
It's not as interesting as becoming a YouTuber, but after you moved in with one of our friends, you were their roommates for a little while, and you sort of blew up. You started to blow up when you were working at Starbucks, like you said, and I remember like when you sort of transitioned out of it. I hadn't seen you a lot lately. I was like, oh wow, he's busy. And I had a little bit of a fear, like, I wonder if this YouTube thing's changing him and he's not gonna be my friend anymore. I was like a tiny little bit of fear about that.
Oh, that's sad.
It was sad for me. But then we hung out and I realized, oh wait, this is my best friend and he's gonna just be my best friend, which is like really relieving.
This is when I sniffle and you play the applause and I'm like,
thank you. Thank you for today. I want to thank my mom and my dad for making me. No, it was good. Because I remember when you hit, I think you were about 50,000 subscribers when you quit Starbucks.
yep, that was the number when I was like, I'm getting paid as much as Starbucks.
Yeah. We were on our way to celebrate, was it Nick's birthday at the plaza? And we were all in the car together in the back seat. And it was the first time I'd seen you in it was like 3 or 4 months.
I think it was my birthday. Well,
oh, maybe it was your birthday.
Yeah, it would make sense because April was when I quit and I was full time.
Yeah, but I hadn't seen you in a while because you had moved far away and I was busy with my bank job.
Anyway, we're all crammed in the car.
We were all in the back seat and I was like, buddy, you're doing YouTube now. How does it feel? And you're like, it feels good. Like you could tell you were like still kind of starstruck about like, whoa, I'm doing this for my job, but like this is weird.
Yeah.
All this attentions, stealing all the attentions. No, it was cool. It was a cool moment to see you like, yeah, we're going to do my birthday now. And I remember thinking, oh, he's the same guy, whatever.
Yeah, that was nice to hear from other people. Like you mentioned, Nick, I think he specifically was like, actually someone else said it too, but it was nice to hear after the fact some years later, like, it's nice to know that you haven't changed and you're still the same person. I'm like, thanks. It's good to hear that.
I think you're a better person, frankly.
Really?
Yeah.
You know why?
Okay, you're more of
you know why?
What?
Because you just need money to be a good person. Anyway, go ahead.
I was going to say, you know what to do with people better, which is good because you're more social.
That's a good point.
You're more acceptable socially. It's not your strength, but it's not your weakness anymore. You're more of an asshole now than ever.
Thanks.
But that's why I love you. And, yeah, I think otherwise you haven't changed. You've always been a little bit of an asshole, but now you're like especially.
Now I'm professional.
Yeah, like a pompous rich asshole. That's what you are. I'm joking a little bit.
I know.
There's a little part of me that's not
definitely an asshole.
Yeah, like picky about your stuff because you can be. You can be a little more selective with things and have things your way.
It's hard to talk even mildly well about myself, but I tell people I'm a decent person before I'm an asshole, but I am an asshole.
Yeah.
But when push comes to shove, like I'm hard to say that about yourself. It's easier for have someone say that about me.
If you melted you down, what would be left is a good person. But there's a lot of assholes.
Way to say it.
Yeah.
That's a topic I'd like to talk about sometime because I think about that, what defines a good person and to quickly just pick at it.
Oh, I don't think they exist.
We kind of talked about it before. Let's let it go because
we could get on that for a while.
Yeah, that could be something for someone else. I guess that's the end of my YouTube story. Is that the end of our jobs?
Yeah, basically. I mean, to wrap all that up, YouTube didn't change you. You're the same. You can get bigger toys now because you've always gotten toys. I remember before, like I think your first or second purchase when you worked at Panera, like your first job was like a katana or some crazy thing. Wasn't it a katana?
Well, I did buy one and I don't know where else I would have gotten money from.
You got ninja stars and you stabbed yourself in the freaking leg. You idiot. Tell that story.
Oh man, I need this on my soundboard and I go, my leg,
my leg.
That's not a work story.
We don't have to stay on topic. We have to a little bit.
Okay, quickly, I bought throwing stars. I'm like, I'm gonna go throw these stars at the wood stump outside. It's a good story, right? Because you kind of gave away the ending. But as soon as I was able to land one in the tree, I was like, okay, I know how to throw one now. Now I'm gonna do an underhanded throw. I threw it. I looked at my hand and there was nothing there, but I didn't see it fly. And I felt this sharp feeling go up me. And I was like, I looked down. There it was, just stuck in my knee.
Stuck in there?
Yep. I was like,
yeah.
it's in the bone. It's in the bone. No, I think it did hit my bone. And not surprisingly, I got no sympathy from my dad, which now I totally understand. As a kid, I was like, oh, how do you not care? You guys got stabbed.
It's like, why are you throwing and just underhanded? You know you can't do that.
That's what you get for being stupid. And it's his mentality, which now I'm like, yeah, that's what I get. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's that story.
But there was like, yeah, you've always bought toys before essentials, which is a funny, cool thing about you. I think it's fun. Okay, not over essentials, like real essentials. You buy
Mac and
essentials.
cheese is essential. You need to eat.
Yeah.
Good times, man. I remember living on $11 a week.
Food-wise.
Those are the times. It's so shame that the pop filter stops the. Oh, seemed to go for you anyway.
It goes for you too.
But yeah, I guess I buy stupid
Yeah,
stuff.
you have a cool job now. It's the envy of many people, maybe incorrectly so, because it definitely there's just good things and bad things. Like you said, you maybe it would be cool to have the perspective of working just a day job or a regular job for a little bit, and then you'd be like reinvigorated with the whole.
Yeah.
What am I doing for money? Are you kidding?
Yeah,
But I mean,
I don't
we're
want to
past
take it for
that.
granted, but I'm sure sometimes I do.
Yeah, you do a good job of not.
You help keep me honest for sure. Like, oh, I can't hang out with Zach because he has to go to work like a normal person does. Oh yeah. And of course, your roommate Nathan keeps me in check, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, you deserve it a little bit. No, it's. Yeah, there's not been many times at all where I've even had to just be like, hey, just so you know, you sound like an asshole when you say that, because other people can't do that like you can. But I don't think I've ever really had to do that to you. Well, I've never had to, but there's been times when I was like, it would do him some good to hear that. But you're pretty good about being aware and, careful with that.
Yeah, and you know why I'm good at that now?
Tell me.
It's because I have money.
Yep, and you could buy people's favor.
It's the quality of a person
Yeah.
is their stuff.
Yeah, and you have stuff.
And the color of their skin.
Yeah. Yep. That's where your value comes from, remember?
Don't forget genitalia.
Yep.
The accent that you grew up with. All those things.
Your social status. That is a huge one.
Yeah.
Yep. Money.
Blue check marks also make you more valuable as a person.
Yep. Valid. Official. Yeah. Is that what you get like when like enough people like follow you or something?
On Twitter?
Yeah.
It's very interesting, the politics of that. It's very interesting. But it's not any merited system. It's fairly arbitrary. And it's very interesting if you look into it. But no, it has nothing to do with your status as a person, your validity, and how you've been verified in other forms of media. No.
Blue check mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of the best way to summarize it is it's an inner society, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
With YouTube, though, that's more of I got verified on YouTube sometime after 100,000 subscribers. That was cool. And that more or less works as a more correctly merited system. Anyway, since you asked.
Yeah, that makes more sense because there's like a threshold, and when you cross it, then yeah, you get the
Right. That's what
verification.
you would expect on something like Twitter, but it doesn't happen that way there.
Yeah.
At all. You'll have people with millions of followers, whatever, no verification, and these tiny little people with verification. You're like, why?
Yeah, it's because they have the same beliefs as Twitter.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I get it. There's biases. Biases is where you fish for fish.
No, it's indices.
No, you
Dumbass.
fish by them.
By way of them? Is that what you mean by?
No, I mean like beside them.
Oh.
Sorry, that joke didn't land. My
okay.
bad. Wait, no.
There it is.
There it is.
Wow. That was a struggle.
I was like, golly, I couldn't remember which one it was. It's this one. Yeah, this is a fun soundboard. I'm excited to get more sounds on there.
Me too. Speaking of which, this is a great way to kind of close out, update on the show. We're not going to talk about technology. We did that last time, but something that's worth mentioning is now audio podcasts. They are available on.
Okay, time out with that. I've had a couple comments. We had gotten official and live on Spotify, and something happened with it, and Spotify is not working right now, but it will be working very soon. My representative told me it should be working by tomorrow, and if not, I need to contact him. So Spotify people, my bad.
We'll be on soon.
But let me get the list of things that we are on right now, because it's a sizable list we've been approved to. Podcast. We are distribution status. We are currently streaming on Google Podcasts. We're streaming on Spotify almost tomorrow.
That's what I play.
Yeah, Spotify tomorrow.
That's what I play.
Pocket Casts. Pocket Casts, everybody. Come and listen. We've already had several listeners on Pocket Casts.
Really?
Yep. Breaker. Yep. We're on Breaker now, everybody. Congratulations on Breaker listeners. And Radio Public.
Wow.
We're on 5 platforms, except for Spotify, kind of not right now. But we're on it.
We will be very soon.
Yeah.
If you want links to these things, they should be on our YouTube channel. If you look in the upper right corner on our banner, you can see logos or icons for our main places to follow. If you don't want to watch, if you just want to listen.
Yep, listen. We're also on Twitter. So if you want live updates on when we publish new things, except for I don't think I will put on Twitter when we do highlights, but when we publish our podcasts, I will put a notification on Twitter in case you don't get it on your YouTube because you didn't subscribe. Or if you want to just see funny things, because sometimes I put funny things on Twitter. I maybe will one day. But we have 36 total plays on all of our podcasting platforms, which is awesome because we haven't really announced it. I put it in the comments on a couple of videos.
It's good. We're like cancer. We're just spreading.
Yes.
And whether people want it or not.
Slowly shutting down the organs. Yes. Yes. One at a time. Making our way to the slowly
Quick question.
beating heart.
If you were a cancer, what cancer would you want to be? I'm going with colon cancer because it just seems like, what's the word? That's not the one, but good one. It's just a violation. It's just so, it's like so intimate.
I'm going to explore this with you for your benefit. I would want to be skin cancer so that you could get rid of me as easy as possible. I'd be topical. What the heck kind of question is that?
Good question.
Yeah. That's what
Have
we have
you thought
here.
of that before? Because I have.
You've
That's
thought-
me sharing and enriching the world
You thought about what kind of cancer you'd want to be?
just now.
Yeah. I would like to be the cancer of life. I'd like to give you podcasting
That's
life
horrible.
cancer.
That's like asking, would you rather live forever or not? Like, no, I don't want to live forever. But that's another question for another day.
Yeah, it is.
I
I shouldn't have judged your question, by the way. Good question.
thanks.
I had not thought about it, believe it or not, so maybe I'd have a better answer about which cancer I would be if I had more time.
I'll tell you what, though.
I was a little stunned by it, but go ahead.
It's a good thing you listened.
I'm a good yes.
You're a good listener.
Thanks.
Anyway, so you can find us on those platforms soon. Hopefully, if not, they should be eventually linked down below if you're watching this on YouTube. We're spreading like a topical cream.
There's 400 subscribers on
Yeah.
YouTube today.
That's crazy. This is our 4th episode. We're at 400.
That's 100 per episode.
Yeah.
What did we do to deserve that? That's you. Thanks for bringing all these fun people along with us.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
for those of you who came, regardless of where you came from, thank you for coming platonically.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish the camera was on you just to watch that eye roll.
Do we have to go right now? Do you want to play a game? We got
No, we're going to play a game really quick.
okay. Yeah,
Really
but,
quick.
But yeah, subscribe to all those platforms. Listen to every one of them. We want you to hear our same podcast
Just
over
listen!
6 times. Listen to us. All right.
All right. Let's make this as quick as possible as
Yep.
far as
We're
like,
just gonna go down the list. We're not gonna roll a die today. We're going down the
okay,
list. Boom, boom,
how
boom.
about you? I'll think of a line and we both do it. And it's
Yep.
not about scores. We're just doing it for fun.
We are. You think of a line right now.
And if there's a goal, it's make the other person laugh.
I'm doing the scores too because I like scores. I want to beat
way
you.
over there.
I'll go get it.
All right. Could you see the first voices really quick so I can pick a line? Or should we do the same line for every voice?
No, we should do different voices.
Oh, no, different lines. I'm asking, should the line be the same? No. Different lines for each voice. Okay, well, what's the first voice? Okay, turn to page 134. Oh, sorry, you're right. Let's do now.
page
Now turn your
300.
page to 394. I want to go first, so I have to listen to you.
You want to do a quote that Alan Rickman said?
Yeah.
For Alan Rickman? Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do it.
Now turn your page to. No, you turn to page. I said turn your page.
Mm-hmm.
Now turn to page 394.
Now turn to page 394.
I think listening to me affects how you do it. It's just a weird mental thing.
Yeah, let me try it one more time. Do you want to go again?
Nope, we're going once. That's it. Next one. We got so many to go through.
Okay, what you win?
No, it's not you can write scores. You write the scores. You decide who's better. I'm not judging. You just write one or
I'm
the other.
giving you it. Okay, Patrick
next one.
Stewart.
Patrick Stewart. Learn to control your power. Don't let it control you.
Is this what he actually said too?
No, something like that. As an X-Men.
Okay, you start.
Learn to control your power. Don't let it control you.
Learn to control your power. Don't let it control you.
You choose.
I think I did better.
Okay.
Because he has more of that.
You don't have to justify it. You just need to write it down.
All right. Patrick Starr.
Patrick Starr, as in starfish.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see my forehead.
I can't see my forehead.
I wanted to go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Too late.
I can't see my forehead. Yeah, you did better.
Okay. Next. I like
right.
this rapid fire.
Ray Fiennes.
Ray Fiennes.
Specifically Voldemort.
Voldemort. Oh, I'm thinking
A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He rests precisely when he needs to.
Sure.
That's perfect for Voldemort.
I don't care. That's funny.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's your turn to go first.
A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Oh, I see. You're doing Voldemort from the Sorcerer's Stone when he's just a head.
Yeah.
He does sound like that.
Yes. Come here, boy.
I have no idea what he sounds like. I can't remember.
I did pretty good.
A wizard? No idea what he sounds like. I've just lost it completely.
That's okay. Go ahead and just guess what he should sound like. We're
A
going.
wizard is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to.
I'll give it to you.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think I did better, but
was that out of pity? Then give it to you.
okay.
Don't give it to me out of pity. I want your pity points.
But you did good too. You did good.
Okay.
I wanted to give it to you for
so
trying to
strange.
spite. Okay. Now we're doing Gandalf, Ian McKellen. We should give him a Voldemort line.
That's a good idea.
The boy who lived come to die.
Here's the line. Spoken like a true politician. We might have some use for you yet, Pius. I don't know if you can remember that, but that's a Voldemort line.
Okay.
Oh, wait, whose turn is it?
I'll go first.
Oh, it's my turn.
Can I go first? Because I can barely remember the line now. I can't remember.
Maybe if I said it, you'd remember it.
Okay, go ahead.
Spoken like a... I don't remember what he sounds like. I'm getting too tired.
That's okay.
No,
Go
hurry,
through it quick.
I gotta go through it. Spoken like a true politician. We may have some use for you yet, Pius.
Yeah, I can't remember what he sounds like either. I'm trying not to think what you...
a true politician.
Yeah.
Say that.
Okay. Spoken like a true politician.
Yes.
I'm just going to say
Gandalf.
that.
Yeah.
Did I do good?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Larry the Cable Guy.
Okay. I'm thinking Mater from Cars.
That's what he is.
We'll talk later, Mater.
We'll talk later, Mater.
We'll talk later, Mater.
Daggum! I'm trying to do that. That one you don't want to get loud. Yeah.
I don't think I can do that either.
Daggum! Yeah!
Your higher voice is better than mine.
I'll take the one for the high voice, but I'll give you a little one for...
Whatever. They're arbitrary.
Yeah, I get to make the rules. Owen Wilson.
How about I'm making one up? Oh, wow. It's like a time machine.
Okay, yeah, do it.
Oh, wow. It's like a time machine.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It's like a time machine. I want to give it to you, but they're both good.
Do whatever you want.
Okay. Liam Neeson.
All right, let's make it easy. I will...
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I will find you and I will kill you.
Yeah, just make it short. I will find you and I will kill you. Is it? I get to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I will find you and I will kill you.
I'm just going to give it to you right now. I will find you and I will kill you. You did way better. That was so good. All right, we're going to do Dax Shepard in his role of Frito in Idiocracy.
Yay, that's a good one.
Yeah, it is. I'll pick a line and I'll pick...
I can't think of a line that's very long. I have several short ones. How many millions? I told you already.
Yeah.
bunch of short ones,
We could do one of his lines.
or a couple. You can say whatever you want to say in his voice. Just say it, and I'll do what you do.
Oh, wow. You like money too? We have so much in common.
Wow, you like money and sex?
That's what
me
the
out.
really tripping me out. You like money and sex? You're really tripping me out. Forgot about that. Chris Griffin.
Oh man, yeah. Good.
We have to do-
have fun winning.
We have to do the.
I have brought peace, justice, and order to my new empire. Don't make me kill you. Now you go ahead.
I have brought peace and prosperity to my new empire. Don't make me kill you.
Yes, when you do that under part, it's so good. No,
Thanks.
when you do it.
Don't make me kill you. All right, Patrick Warburton. We always have to do Patrick Warburton because he's our very favorite.
I know. What do you think you're doing here, worm boy?
do it.
What do you think you're doing here, worm boy?
It's so good.
What do you think you're doing here, worm boy? Bonus round. When he goes in the sky.
Yeah. All right, now we're doing Evil Betty from Kung Pao.
Okay. You can go first if you want. I don't care. Say whatever you want.
First, a joke. What do you get when you cross an alligator with a bungee cord? My ass.
That's the line I want to do for sure because that's the one I know the best.
Yeah, go ahead.
The tiny net, it is tiny. I don't know that.
Tiny. Yeah, go ahead.
First, a joke. What do you get when you cross an owl with a bungee cord?
Owl. I said alligator.
My ass.
Enough. Yeah. You get that one too.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think we gave anybody awards for Patrick Warburton, but I'm giving that to you too. You win 8-5, my friend.
It's over?
Yeah.
That was good. I like the rapid fire.
It was quick. It was concise. It was just right.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yep. Not too hot, not too cold. Papa Bear.
Well, are we wrapping it up forever? And by forever, I mean today.
Yeah. Thanks for enduring a chill episode with us. We don't have a lot of structure today. Today was sort of just talking stories and, some history. So thanks for sticking with us.
Today was Jobs. That's the title of the video.
Yeah, it's just Jobs.
Which is technically our jobs. I don't know which one's more accurate, but whatever. That's all it was, and I enjoyed it. I like having a normal conversation and having people be listening, or it's just like it would be in real life.
You guys are acting just like listeners, and for that we commend you. For that we upend you. I was trying to find a word that sounds like commends. For that we consume you.
Today we condiment you.
Yeah, we consume you. So we consume you for doing that. Thank you very much.
We consummate you.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
All right. Well, thank you guys for lining and watching.
Thank
and
you
we'll
always.
see you next time. It's been fun.
Yep. Follow us on everything, and we love you and everything. I'm gonna hang up the phone now. Bye, Grandma.
Bye.
Bye.